Hello, Steve Menendez here. Today on Project Salty Frog, we're shooting video on location at my day job, Edge Manufacturing. Plan today is to do some work on this crossmember, suspension crossmember. What I want to do is weld up all these holes. There are holes punched in the sheet metal for this thing, and going out to Bonneville, I want to be able to seal all those holes up. I'll have little pieces of steel put over them, we'll weld them in place, try to really encapsulate this crossmember as much as possible, including cutting some pieces from this, I think it's about 2.5 inch exhaust tubing. It'll cut to fit in here, weld that in, and just try to close in this entire crossmember so that there's very few or ideally no places for salt to get in there. Kind of in celebration, not really celebration, but it was time to get some new safety equipment, so stopped on the way earlier today. I got myself a brand new pair of welding gloves, brand new welding hat, keeps the hot metal sparks from getting in your hair and burning the top of your head. A few other things that are not new, but since we'll be cutting, welding, and grinding today, got the face shield for the cutting and grinding portions. Of course, we've got a protective welding mask for the welding portions, and I'll get myself a pair of earplugs, both for the grinding and the welding. And during welding, not so much the noise that we're trying to protect against with the earplugs, but we don't want any little sparks or little BBs of hot metal getting in your ears. If that's ever happened to you before, you'll know how unpleasant and really dangerous that is. So safety first. I'm going to start cutting some pieces, doing some grinding and cleanup, and then welding on this crossmember today. So I'll shoot a little video of the after. You can see before, it's where these holes are. I'm going to weld some plugs over these, cut some pieces to fit in here. The top side, there's a few more holes. Need to keep a couple of them open for the two here and two here for the steering rack mount, but everything else I'm going to try to close in to try to keep the salt infiltration to a minimum on this crossmember. That's all for now. Thank you. Welcome back to the wrap-up. It's maybe a couple hours later. Been working on this crossmember, trying to close up all the holes so that it'll be stronger, one, be stronger, and two, so it'll be sealed off from a lot of the salt infiltration that we'll see when we go back out to Bonneville. So what I did today is where there were two big gaps here and here, took some aluminized exhaust tubing, welded it in place, cut it, split it open, kind of beat it out to fit, seam welded that all the way around to close in this section where we could have gotten a lot of salt in there. This would be on the underside, where on the original Rampage a sway bar would have been in place. Now, we don't use a sway bar at Bonneville. We're trying to get the thing as low as possible, and we're just not going to have a lot of side-to-side sway, so it's really low. Then I welded up. There were holes here and here, holes here and here. And a series of 4 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and I think there were actually 2 more on the underside that, no, I guess it was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 holes welded shut. And I went around where I could and reinforced the welds on these arms that go up to bolt into the frame rails. And again, just try to close everything up, make it as tight and clean as possible for powder coating, and so that we can, it'll really stiffen this piece up. We're going to be this summer going back to Bonneville with about a 400 horsepower engine compared to, I don't know what the factory Rampage was, maybe 120 horsepower, something like that. So we'll be 3 times as much power, and all that power is delivered through those lower control arms into this subframe, which essentially pulls the rest of the truck along. So it was a little bit grimy, greasy today. Stayed safe. Safety glasses, welding gloves, welding helmet, welding jacket, and a face shield that is sitting over there right now. So thanks for watching.